Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. The MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 113, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and with me once again is Brian Hall.
Hey there, Zaki. What's going on?
Well, Brian, last week you were sick, and now I am the sick one.
See, I know, and I told you, I know we're miles and miles away, but I was afraid I was going to get you sick through the Skype.
I caught it through Skype. This is what happens when two people use Skype without protection.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It knocked me out, so I feel bad.
Well, it's just funny because normally, the way I'm feeling, this would be one of those nights where I would text you like, hey, man, maybe let's do this another night. And I kind of backed us into this because on our episode last week, I was like, we're going to be there. We're going to record opening night to give our fresh thoughts on Logan. So I'm like, well, I can't, I'm stuck now.
Yeah. See, the dedication, man, I really admire it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Dedication, y'all.
Yeah.
If you hear me hacking my lungs up, people, just know I'm doing this for you. This isn't for me. This isn't fun for me.
Let's see the NPR podcast do that.
That's right.
They would have bailed.
They absolutely would have. So, we are recording this at 10:15 Pacific time. Mm-hmm. It is opening night of Logan, and you have just gotten out of your screening.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, not even an hour has gone by.
So I have no idea what you thought of the movie, and I am looking forward to discussing it in just a little bit. But
Me too.
Before we do that, we do have a few bits of business to get through. So really quickly, as you are listening to this, it's like I said, it's 10:15 here. So it's just about 45 minutes after the embargo lifted for Disney's Beauty and the Beast, which I just saw this morning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So this does not come out for another 2 weeks, but hey, the embargo's up, so I can talk about it.
Wow, 2 weeks away. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm curious. What do you think? I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, Disney recently has been going through their back animated catalog and then not remaking them. I guess they're remakes. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically remaking them. It's a brand
into
new
live action films.
Yeah, it's just a whole new revenue stream for them.
And they've been doing pretty well at it so far, it seems.
So there was Jungle Book last year. There was Cinderella the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I guess, Alice in Wonderland would count.
Sure.
Right? Is that
we
it?
got Lion King coming up.
Lion King is coming up. Mulan is coming up. Aladdin is coming up. Mm-hmm. So the all bets are off.
Yeah.
So this one, it stars Emma. I was going to say Emma Thompson. Well,
I was thinking the same thing in my head.
Well, as it happens, Emma Thompson is in it also.
Oh.
So
well.
it stars the Emmas.
Yeah.
Emma Watson is Belle.
Uh-huh.
And Emma Thompson is Mrs. Potts.
Oh. I mean, Angela Lansbury's Angela Lansbury, but you do what you have to.
That's right. Well, yeah, and I mean, hey, they got James Earl Jones to come back. I mean, Angela Lansbury's still around, right? Come on, people.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. I mean, this is Disney, but they didn't have Angela Lansbury money. So
that's true. So in terms of other people in the cast, you have Luke Evans as Gaston,
mm-hmm.
and Ewan McGregor is Lumiere.
Oh, funny! I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ian McKellen is Cogsworth.
Okay.
And let's see, Josh Gad is LeFou.
Right.
And it's my wife is like a big Beauty and the Beast fan. She's like, "What's it like?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's the exact same thing. I mean, it's this is almost slavishly recreating the 1991 movie."
I was getting that impression from trailers, and I feel like I've even seen people posting side-by-side comparisons. So you're saying the whole film is pretty much...
It is. I mean, it's about 40 minutes longer than the animated one, so they add a few bits, which I don't know that any of the additions are particularly necessary.
Like fleshing things out further?
Yeah, there's a few bits of business that kind of add character, because I'm kind of like, the 1991 Beauty and the Beast is pretty close to perfect in terms of the material that they've included in it. You know what I mean? It was nominated for Best Picture. We forget that.
I was just going to bring that up, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, it was not broken, and I'm not saying that this new version breaks it, but I do think that the stuff that they add doesn't particularly add
Elevate
much.
Or,
yeah, you know.
Enhance.
You know, so it's kind of like you watch this going, hey, what would a live action version of exactly that 1991 version look like? And it would look like this.
So it can't help but be good because it doesn't break formula.
Yes. So it's enjoyable, but I would not say it's revelatory.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I walked out of Jungle Book, I was like, I mean, it kind of knocked me off my feet a little bit.
Right.
It was a truly surprising film in the best way possible. This is not that.
Okay.
But I think it's totally fine.
But do you feel fans who are going in loving the animated original are probably going to like it?
I would imagine. I mean, it's you know, I'm thinking the people who are going to go see this are, you know, people our age who have kids now, who loved it when they were kids and want to go see it with their kids, and they'll enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same thing, you know.
Right.
It's. I don't see how you wouldn't. If you like that one, you're going to like this one because it's the same thing.
And it's a musical?
It is
more
a musical
than The Jungle Book was?
Well, The Jungle Book was not a musical, so yes.
I mean, but The Jungle Book did stop for 2 musical numbers.
Yeah, and those were kind of like out of necessity almost. They had to put those in.
Yeah.
You know, this
Bare
it's like
necessities?
Oh boy! All right,
Okay.
I'm hanging up. I don't need to talk Logan with you that badly. Yeah, but this, I mean, it's and it's all the same songs. I think they add maybe 1 or 2 numbers that weren't in the original, but all the songs that are in the original are in this one.
Okay, interesting.
And it's funny. I mean, by the way, it's directed by Bill Condon, which I think is why Ian McKellen is in there. You know, because they've worked together before. They worked on Gods and Monsters together. This opens not next week, but the week after. So they screened it quite early. So and I mean, I have to imagine the word of mouth is going to be good, even critically, because it's flawed, but it's a hard movie to hate on, is what I would say.
Totally. And how's Emma Watson? I don't know if I've ever seen her as like a lead.
She's fine, you know.
Uh-huh.
She looks like a kid. I mean, it's crazy. She's like 26, 27 now.
Uh-huh.
She's like Hermione to me. She'll never not be Hermione, I think.
Totally.
You know? But yeah, I'm curious what you end up thinking of it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see it somewhere down the line.
You know, another movie that's opening right now in select cities is The Last Word, and this is directed by Mark Pellington, and this stars Shirley MacLaine, who she's still around. She's still making movies.
Saw her at the Oscars, yeah.
That's right. So this is it's I don't know. There was a movie that came out last year called Hello, My Name is Doris.
Yes. Sally Field.
So with Sally Field, and you know, this is very much in that vein.
Okay. Okay.
And I think you can kind of tell exactly what I'm saying. Like, here's an older actress, and let's kind of give her a showcase and be a quirky older actress, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's in that vein. So she's Shirley MacLaine plays this cantankerous character who has a near-death experience and decides that she wants her obituary written before she dies.
Okay.
And so she's striving to essentially live a life that would be worthy of a meaningful obituary.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up partnering with Amanda Seyfried, who's this obituary writer, and wackiness ensues.
So she goes along for the bucket listy type adventure.
Yeah. You know, I mean, this is one of these movies that it's kind of like what I was saying about Beauty and the Beast. It's very hard to be cruel to this movie because it's just, you know, you watch it for a few hours and, you know, it's enjoyable, it's agreeable, and you get to see Shirley MacLaine, who's a legend, and you get to see why she's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's the kind of movie it is.
Okay.
So this is directed by Mark Pellington, who I've been an admirer of his work for a long time. He did a movie back in '99 called Arlington Road.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
With Jeff Bridges and Tim Robbins, and it was very that film, the timing wise, was very interesting because it came out just a few years before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't do very well when it first opened, and I almost feel like it got renewed attention after the terrorist attacks.
That's one I'd like to revisit because I don't remember it very well, other than like the movie that came out that week that I saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it opened in like 4th or 5th place. I remember going to see it opening night, and I was a big Jeff Bridges fan back then. Mm-hmm. And that what I appreciated about that movie was that it went all out with a super dark ending. I don't know if you remember that.
Man, I really don't. I mean, I can picture what he looked like in that movie, like his age and everything. Like I can see the images, but I don't recall it very well.
I mean, it's basically like I don't even consider it a spoiler because the movie is almost 20 years old. Jeff Bridges plays an instructor who teaches how to spot terrorists. Mm-hmm. And Tim Robbins is his neighbor who moves in, and he's like a domestic terrorist, it turns out.
Right.
And so Jeff Bridges is now trying to convince the authorities that Tim Robbins is planning this heinous terror attack. And again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it doesn't end well, I'll put it that way.
Sure.
Things don't wrap up neatly with a bow. And it was really kind of, certainly at the time that I saw it, that's not the kind of ending I would have expected, Yeah. And so it always stayed with me because of that. So when I talked to Mark Pellington, I mean, we talked about The Last Word quite a bit. And then I was like, man, you got to tell me about Arlington Road. So we had a really great conversation, and I wanted to play that right now. So here it is, Mark Pellington talking about The Last Word.
How's the tour going so far?
Awesome.
Yeah?
You're number 4.
Oh.
Highly. And you don't just say it. Like, what you want to do is you want to have the same thing with people that are ripping you to shreds. You want to have at least an intelligent discourse.
Sure.
So the fact that people have liked it or at least appreciate some of the things that we were going for on a certain level beyond plot.
Sure.
Right? Because people just, so much movie criticism is just like, okay, I'm going to tell you what the plot of the movie is, and then a very, sometimes simple opinion, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, just to pick up on what you're saying, I mean, it's a difficult movie to be mean to, was my thought. I mean, it's just a pleasant film. I mean...
Exactly. You gotta really have a real hard-on for me or one of the actors to rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought about that. Having made my last movie got destroyed. I understood it was unlikable, white guys killing themselves, entitled. You could easily take pot shots at it, stylistically, everything. But this, I was like, man, really, what are you going to wail on about it?
So was that part of the calculation in taking this project on?
It was like, it's okay to make a movie that people might want to see. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it's okay to make a movie that is could reach a broad audience.
Okay.
Because just aiming for like 50 people is not going to keep serving me.
Right. So
I like the story.
So was Shirley MacLaine attached at the point?
I read the script, developed it with the writer, for about a year, got it up to speed where it could be seen, and we reached out to Shirley first. She wouldn't read it.
Really?
Because at the point, some actors don't want to read scripts that aren't financed.
Right. Okay.
So you're playing that game. Take a couple swings at a couple of other people. Which got good read. We got a good read. We were with one actress for a while. Did a reading with her. Then she bowed out. And we went back to Shirley, and this time she was more open. I think she had heard about a couple of people that had circled it.
Okay. So it's not some flash in the pan thing.
Yeah. So she reads it, and it's of substance, and read it and dug it, and immediately we met her, and she immediately got attached, and then I think she took a couple swings at some actresses.
Okay.
That she admired of that generation. I'm talking pretty big swings.
Sure.
And those people are usually booked up so far in advance. And then we landed pretty quickly on Amanda, who read it and liked it. And then I met Amanda, and then we were off.
So,
First of all, I mean, you as developing the process, I'm sure at the point where Shirley MacLaine is attached as a director and a film buff, I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, this is surreal. You know, the surreality of it.
Yeah, I mean, when you meet her, now again, I had met legends before, and so in a way you can't, I'm not easily, you know, like, oh my God.
Sure.
Right, meeting them. It's when you work with them that you really understand how they got to that, right? Then when you're really working with them and digging into the process of, okay, developing the script, or are there any notes in the script, or what you're going to do, or what the character's going to look like and how they're going to behave, that you really see how specific she was, what her wisdom is, what her wealth of experience is, and how she would, you know, focus on a certain take, or how she would read off camera for somebody, you know, like all those things. Then you see the mastery.
Yeah.
But you don't let it, you know, you don't get intimidated by it. You're inspired by it. You're like, oh, this is amazing. It makes your job as a filmmaker easier.
I'm sure. Well, and I was just thinking about how, I mean, you're following in this illustrious footsteps of all the people Shirley MacLaine has gotten to work with, Billy Wilder and James L. Brooks, et cetera, et cetera.
But she still has to respect you.
Yeah.
So you just still have to be yourself. And at the end, she said some very nice things to me at the end, and that made me feel good. But then you go make another movie, and you never get comfortable with yourself. And I think that she even said that she never got comfortable with herself. Like, she would always like feel good about a performance, but like, where's the next role? I mean, artists are driven to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have successes, sometimes they don't. Look at all her movies. For every one Terms of Endearment, there's tons of movies that did.
The Evening Star.
Exactly. Right. So everybody has their ups and downs, hits and misses.
Yeah.
But you just keep doing the work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious about your own process as a director. I mean, you've been doing this a while. What is, you know, every director has a unique way of working with talent to, you know, co-create a performance. Mm-hmm. And what is your approach, whether Shirley MacLaine or anyone else for that matter?
You know, it changes. It's always, if I look back at my career, I think I can think of the moment, like the actors that taught me a lot, that made me a better filmmaker. Jeff Bridges, I learned a great deal from him on Arlington Road. I learned some valuable lessons from Laura Linney on Mothman Prophecies. Each movie teaches me different things. I probably innately, myself, I accept who I am. I kind of upfront tell them who I am, how I communicate, ask them what's the best way they like to be communicated to, what's their process, because everybody's different. Some people need to be hugged, some people need to be kicked in the ass, some people like to rehearse. And each actor is a creature who's innately different.
Sure.
So you have to kind of just like see where they are as an instrument, right? They're an instrument in the symphony of the movie. So how are they going to be played? What's going to be the optimum way to get, even again, just the raw material, knowing that it's like, don't even worry about the end. Just get the raw material and understand that the editing process is a whole other way to shape.
Right.
I mean, Shirley MacLaine,
completely separate from film.
Shirley MacLaine's performance in this film was heavily shaped by Julia Wong, the editor. I mean, every choice she made, that Shirley delivered every line, every gesture, every reaction, very much a process of editing. Okay. And, you know, just that's where the craft comes in. As a director, like finding the right editor who understands the performance, and she really, you know.
So do you mean in the sense of a performer giving you multiple reads of dialogue and then you kind of, it's multiple choice for you?
I think they even said it at the Oscars the other night. It's like any actor in that audience understands the power of a great editor.
Sure.
I mean, I've sat there where an artist came over to an editor and said, "Great job." You know, not that like you could have edited a totally different performance of her. And it was all there. So she was very consistent and gave it to us. But you know, each choice and that scene by scene, beat by beat, kind of, I think, kept her just very real. I think her performance was. I'm really proud of Shirley's performance in the film.
Well, and I mean, with that in mind, I mean, the arc of the story, and its mortality, and is there's sort of a whimsical approach in the film in terms of what her quest is. But I mean, we all do think about that. We think about what will be our legacy. What are we remembered for? Do you ever ponder that?
Constantly, but in a way that's not. It's not narcissistic.
Sure.
It's just human. I think part of it's comes with age. At 54, the movie I made 5 years ago was about the same thing. It was just about guys that killed themselves in their 40s, but it was the same idea of identity. Who am I? What life have I lived? And what's in the future?
Yeah.
So this one is about a woman who's looking back at her life, doesn't necessarily like it, and is given an opportunity or takes the opportunity or the control to kind of, re-edit that.
Yeah.
To change that perception, even within two people, right? And yes, takes that whimsical kind of almost fantasy. You know what I mean? The movie's not like neo-realism.
Right.
It's just it's...
Right.
It's... Stuart's, it was always that way on the page. It's kind of like old-fashioned.
Yeah.
It feels of another era. Come on, a newspaper office. It was set in Ohio originally. A newspaper office, and the reporter.
That itself seems sort of archaic.
Yeah. It's kind of like a throwback. You know what I mean? And it definitely comes from Middle America, and that's Stuart. Stuart's a great kid from Cincinnati. He's sweet. He's still very earnest. So it's coming from an earnest place. He doesn't have a cynical bone in his body. He's very smart. Works in advertising. He deals in ultimate cynicism. But deep down, he's interested, and I was always interested in the good in people.
Sure.
And in that kind of quality. So it's funny that kind of I think I read one review that was saying, it's predictable and formulaic. It's she pretty clearly lays out early on in the movie, this is what the rest of the movie is going to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think it's any great rocket science. It's not trying to be this crazy complex plot. It's a really simple story about a woman getting older and how a younger woman maybe is going to change the way she's going to live her life based on what she learns from her.
Yeah.
So it's fairly, if you strip it down to that simplicity, it's a fairly simple story.
Well, and I mean, you're talking about how it is the antithesis of cynicism and things like that, and that draws to mind one of your films you alluded to earlier, which is Arlington Road, which this is the polar opposite of that, it feels like, because my memory of Arlington Road is being there opening night in the theater, and I was one of the few people, as I recall, opening night. It didn't do as well as it could have, that movie, because I love it. And it blew my hair back, especially that ending.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with that movie. It was just they didn't know what to... I mean, God, that was so long ago. That was a lifetime ago. I mean, think about it. It's 18 years ago. The world, what's happened in the world since then. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it was about evil. Evil overpowering goodness.
I mean, the good guy loses. And he loses in the worst way possible.
In the worst way. So it subverts your expectations of what you expect the hero to do. The hero's going to save the day. It just twists that and fucks with you in a way that the Oklahoma City bombing did, and then later 9/11 and or Columbine or any of these fucking horrible things that have come up that said this world isn't going to be the way you think it is.
Yeah.
So this movie reflected that and it's not the first nihilistic, dark ending movie. There's been plenty of them made since then, but I think the line of escapism, and we want our movies, the rise of superhero movies and the rise of fantasy and escapism, we want our movies to be that way, and the destruction of the middle class of movies. And there's indie movies and there's big movies. There's like Oscar movies and there's this. There's 2 seasons. There's no middle ground thrillers anymore. There's no middle drama. There's no drama. That's all migrated to TV.
Yeah.
So things just have changed. You know, Arlington Road coming out now. If you read the script, you'd be like, I don't know, like it would be completely different. I pitched a movie. I went for a movie about 6 months ago. Tense thriller. Like, was the guy the witness? Was he the? And you're turning the page, and you're turning the page, and you're like, okay, like, oh my God, the twist, like, oh, he's actually the villain.
Yeah.
But you're reading, you're like, and I'm reading, I'm like, well, they won't have the balls to let the guy kill the president. You just know it.
Yeah.
They end up like the villain dies. You're kind of satisfied, but you're like, boy, you want him to, you wanted it to go further. You just wanted it to go to get a reaction, because like, how are you going to get a reaction if you know what's the ending of the movie is?
Right. That's true. Well, I mean, but with that in mind, I mean, the ending of Arlington Road, how did you get something like that?
It was on the page. It was on the page the first time I read it. The feeling from the first time I read that script and turning the page, that same like, oh shit, he's going to save it. And then the holy shit, no, like the bottom dropping out.
Yeah.
That was on the page from the first time I read it all the way to like me watching it 3 months ago. So in relationship to the other script that I was talking about, I was like, in a way, I can't be shocked, because like, okay, you go to a movie and be like, oh, I know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
What was I watching? I was like, well, they're not going to... I know what it was. I did a pilot for this TV show, Blind Spot, right?
Sure.
And they said, watch the Blacklist pilot. Like, it was a good pilot. It was a good... Joe Carnahan did it. Watch the Blacklist pilot as a good model for something. So I'm watching it. In the pilot, they have a very clever little piece where they've strapped a bomb to a girl in a girl's backpack, and she's, it's tied to her, and you see the bomb in her see-through plastic backpack, right? It's a pretty good image.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, it's like, oh my God, the bomb and tension. I'm like, they're never gonna kill her. Like, they don't have the balls. Network TV wouldn't have the balls to kill her.
Sure.
Like, if you really wanted to make it, like, raise the stakes, kill her.
Right.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
Holy fuck, like, there's no way they're gonna... So until you step that far, somebody said, what did you... I said, I made Arlington Road. Forever changes your vision of shock or suspense or action. I mean, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, it blew my hair back. I was 19. I was 19 or 20. Yeah,
it's hard to keep secrets, and it's impossible for a movie to be made to keep a secret now. Back then, you could have, they could have probably they marketed that movie. It's a different world.
You were talking about Jeff Bridges. So just 2 nights ago, I was watching with my kids. I was watching King Kong, the '76 King Kong, and Jeff Bridges is just one of the most consistently quality actors. I mean, can you share any stories about? You mentioned learning
from him. I watched him in
Tron. Tron, yeah, that was
very prescient movie. Very unbelievable. I was like, wow, that's really weird. I mean, Jeff is just great. He taught me a lot about experimenting. Like, you're doing a scene, you're rehearsing a scene, and you'd be like, all right, let's read the scene like we're best friends. Same words that are like antagonistic. Now we're mortal enemies. Or let's read the love scene like we hate each other. Now let's read it with this tone. He liked to play games. He goes, John Huston told me one time that an actor should blah, 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 blah. So if you're getting the wisdom from a master like John Huston through Jeff, you absorb that kind of stuff. Great guy, very giving. I've stayed in touch with him over the years, and congratulate him on all his successes. And
he's fantastic in Hell or High Water too.
Yeah, really good. He's great. When is he bad?
That's true. That's a good
That
point.
seventh sign. What was that? That seventh.
Yeah.
seal?
But again, he's not
That
the
was
problem with that movie. He's not the problem with
No,
R.I.P.
but
any
it's
of
a
this
little
stuff.
bit of a joke. I was sort of say, come on, when you're there, didn't it feel a little silly?
Yeah. So just wrapping things up on the last word, I mean, I feel like there's an avenue that's opened up. I mean, you mentioned with Andrea about my hello, my name is Doris, and this feels very much within that same wheelhouse of.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, once, look, the business is how a movie performs, even on the art house theater circuit, even on, it still has to make some money. It has
Sure.
to perform. And I think the fact that there is an appetite for these films out there. I went to the movies the other day, right? I wanted to go to the movies with my daughter. And we get there, there was nothing for me. There was nothing that I was like, okay, I could go see. I mean, she didn't want to see Get Out.
Right.
But there was not like a lot of adult choice. If I said I want to go to the movies with myself, I didn't want to see Fist Fight.
Right.
I was like, what am I going to go see? There weren't a lot of choices.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with movies like this that can reach out in certain theater chains that are playing more of them, it gives you an opportunity for an
more
adult
options.
to go, see a movie. And I want to get out and see a movie, and I don't want to watch it at home.
Right.
And that combination, not everything has to be escapist, and not everything has to be only a movie vying for an Oscar that you see the same movie as for, it's kind of just gotten so polarized.
Yeah.
So I applaud Bleecker Street for trying to, take a movie like this and hopefully get some people out there to see it, to continue the dialogue about the themes of mortality, and just any of it, and just have that exchange. And ultimately entertain. It's an entertaining movie that for maybe, a couple hours you can just go in and kind of and laugh at Shirley MacLaine.
What a concept.
It's a good one.
Alrighty, so moving on, we do have a few headlines to get to before we talk about the main event. And unfortunately, we have some sad news just to start things off. This is, I don't know about you, man, but I mean, this was like a kick in the midsection when I heard this. Bill Paxton has passed away at age 61.
Yeah. I mean, one of those things where it was completely unexpected, like complications from surgery.
Like one of those headlines I never wanted to read.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's one thing when someone gets old and they've lived a life and it was full, and, one of those sort of passings is, it's never easy, but it's just like, well, they lived their life and that's great. But it's just to hear someone, I mean, he was 61 years old from something completely unexpected. It's just, it's a damn shame.
Yeah, he went in for heart surgery, and, I mean, he died on the table, basically.
Man, yeah. And just hearing, too, a lot of the people who were sort of talking about, their friendships with him, saying that he reached out to them jokingly nervous about the surgery, and
James Cameron wrote a wonderful remembrance of him where he said, I mean, what turned out to be their last conversation was basically the day before he went in. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's funny because I mean, I think about Bill Paxton as, I mean, certainly when I look at some of the favorite movies of my life, I think of Bill Paxton, Tombstone and Apollo 13 and Aliens, and and it's just the consistency that he brought. But another aspect that I think about is my friendship with Sean.
Yep.
Because, when Sean and I first became friends, he was a huge Bill Paxton fan. Mm-hmm. At a time when you weren't really, that wasn't a thing.
Yes.
So it's almost like it was the mark of a certain kind of movie nerd. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, dude, do you like Bill Paxton? I love Bill Paxton. And that was one of the ways we became friends.
Yep. I mean, when I heard this news, he was the absolute first person I thought of.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So our former co-host Sean, we're thinking of him right now.
Yeah.
As we raise a glass to Bill Paxton. You know, I rewatched Twister the day that this happened.
Yeah, I need to. I haven't seen that in years and years.
The last time I saw Twister was 1996.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's been
when it came out. Yeah,
it's been more than 20 years since I watched Twister. So I watched it with the boys, and they had a good time too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that movie should not work.
Right.
Because the idea of 2 hours of people chasing a tornado around, seriously?
Right. How do you make a story out of that?
How do you make a story out of it? But man, you know, it rests on Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton and their chemistry together.
Yeah. And did you see that tribute that the real life storm chasers?
I did see that. Yeah.
That was amazing. I don't quite understand what they did, but somehow they have these GPS coordinates, or I don't know if they're things they have in the sky or whatever it is. Like all these storm chasers took these GPS units or whatever it is, and they formed over the span of 3 states. It was like Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and they spelled out BP with whatever GPS equipment they have in tribute to Bill Paxton for, I guess, inspiring them into the field of storm chasing.
Or for drawing attention to their craft.
Profession.
You know?
Wow. But, I mean, that was so... what a unique tribute, and a really sentimental one. I don't know. I thought that was just really special.
What are some of your favorite Bill Paxton performances?
Well, it's funny enough because in the past year I saw Apollo 13, which I forgot. I mean, I even forgot Kevin Bacon was in it. You know what I mean? Like, I hadn't seen it in so long, and they're all so great in that movie. I actually recently rewatched True Lies. It's been playing on cable a lot lately.
Oh, he's so good in that.
He is. I mean, for playing essentially a side character in that movie, he feels like a memorable, semi-lead in that movie. He leaves such an impression.
Arguably the most memorable part of that movie.
Yeah. I mean, so good in that. And then, of course, he had Tombstone, Titanic. I mean, honestly, he for playing someone who could have just been like a faceless person. He really. Yeah. I remember the way that he talks and even dressed and talks to people in that movie. I mean, he makes what could have been another sort of expository side character into someone memorable. Yeah. And then he directed Frailty, which I really enjoyed.
Which I've never seen, but I've heard very good things about.
Yeah, it's just a great small little horror film. Really good. Really good. So, how about yourself?
Well, you mentioned Tombstone, and yeah, I mean, when his character dies in Tombstone, I mean, I remember as a kid that really stayed with me. Just both the moment of his passing and then the way Kurt Russell reacts to it. Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned Apollo 13, which I watch once a year at least because I screen it in my small group communication classes. Mm. And I mean that movie's, we've talked about it on this show. I think we did a whole episode about it, but I mean it really is just an embarrassment of riches. Yeah. Because there's not a bad performance in the bunch, and you're looking at this kind of time capsule of these phenomenal performers from the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. That's a movie that has kind of been forgotten a little bit. Apollo 13.
It has, hasn't it? But it's a really, like I said, I mean, I saw it again recently, and I mean, it is like, it's a great film.
It holds up. It was not like a flash in the pan kind of thing in the 90s,
Yeah. Great score, too, James Horner.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. The late James Horner, too. Yeah. That's the other sad thing, man, is just more and more of these people. We've had this conversation before, how it's like our people are leaving now. John Hurt passed away just a month ago. Yeah. And these are people, they're closer to our orbit. Mm-hmm. It's weird to think, like, when we were kids in the 90s, it was like, oh, Jimmy Stewart has passed away, and Gene Kelly, and and we had awareness of it, but there was a remove from it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just a damn shame. I mean, we've said this before, and when other people have gone, but I mean, we had many years of great Bill Paxton performances left.
Mm-hmm. And, and it's in the middle of a series.
Yeah, Training Day, which I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with that now. Mm-hmm. I would imagine it'll be canceled. Yeah. But moving on, this last weekend was the Oscars, and this is a movie podcast, so I feel it is our civic duty. Although I gotta say, Brian, of any Oscar show to discuss, this is the one.
Yeah, I mean,
holy cluster F.
Yeah. I guess why even?
Did you watch it?
You know, this is one of those things. I am one of those people, even when I've worked in the entertainment industry, I work alongside people who don't watch the Oscars. But growing up, even as a kid, you know, in high school or even younger, every year I watch the Oscars. It's just what I do. And this was the first year where I missed about half of it.
Okay. But
I did catch the second half, which I can only imagine was the more surprising and interesting half. It seems
it sure feels like it. So I mean, on the front end, you know, there were some very cool wins. Mahershala Ali won for Moonlight.
Totally deservedly.
Well deserved. He was fantastic in that movie. Yep. Friend of the show Emma Stone won.
Yep.
Actually, not friend of the show, friend of the host. I'd like to point out here, by the way, that
yes, I saw you. Yes.
2 years in a row now, the best actress. Last year's Brie Larson. This year's Emma Stone. 2 years in a row, the best actress winner won after having met with me. I'm not saying they won because they met with me, but I'm not saying they didn't either.
Right.
So, you know, something to think about, future nominees.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. And then of course Best Picture was Moonlight.
Yeah.
So this has never ever happened.
No.
This
and
is
sort of
the nightmare scenario.
Yes. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. I mean, you have your Best Picture winner announced, they go up there in the middle of all their thanks, and then all of a sudden you see a guy with a headset you know, parting between them, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it occurred to anybody watching what had actually happened.
Yeah.
Which is that, so Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway are up there. It's 50th anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde, so they go up there. And Warren Beatty has the envelope, and he's kind of like struggling to read the winner, and it looked like he was having a stroke.
I mean, he did. He was looking at the card, looking at the audience, looking at the card. Like, it seemed like he was doing sort of a grandpa joke.
It was like, it was either a bit or a stroke.
Right.
Those were the options.
No, it was love.
Yeah. So
Simpsons deep cut.
It was a deep cut. I love it. So he's kind of, you know, struggling with it. He looks off stage. This is funny because now you can rewatch this stuff, and it's like people are Zaprudering this.
Right.
You know, he looks off stage, he's trying to figure out. So Faye Dunaway, he hands it to Faye Dunaway. This is pretty slick. He's like, I don't know what this is. Here, what do you think?
Right.
He pawns it off on her. So she sees La La Land, and that's what she announces. And then everybody hugs and screams, and, you know, all the people from La La Land come up. So the card, what we know now, it said Emma Stone, La La Land. So it was the Best Actress card that they had been given. And so what turns out now, again, this is what's amazing. If you read all these articles, people are reconstructing this minute by minute, second by second. At 9:37, this happened, and at 9, you know.
Yes, and there's like photographic evidence for each minute.
It's crazy. So the two accountants from PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who were tasked with making sure this does not happen, were basically effing off.
Well, I mean, from my understanding, one guy was tweeting.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey,"
and then the
Emma
other one
Stone
just sort of froze. Right? Is that kind of how it went down? Yeah.
So essentially, what they're told, I didn't know all this. This is actually really interesting.
It's pretty illuminating, the process here.
It is. So nobody knows the winners except for the accountants from PwC.
Right.
And they are actually told to memorize each winner.
Right.
In addition to having two sets of cards.
Right. Because they're on either side of the stage.
That's exactly right.
And they each have a card for each category.
So the show went pretty smoothly up to the very end, at which point this guy, Brian Cullinan, this guy, by the way, he's going to be like the Steve Bartman of Oscar history. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right, this poor guy. For folks, if you don't remember Steve Bartman, Google it.
Yeah.
You talk about deep cuts. There's a deep cut.
Yeah.
So, we're in the. I mean, this is it, the last award. So he's probably like, "Hey, home stretch, we're in the clear." So he's like tweeting about Emma Stone being in the wings, and so Warren Beatty is supposed
which
to
they are told not to do, by the way.
They were specifically told not to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that like you had one job. That saying. This is it.
Yeah.
It's entirely applicable in this case. So he gives Warren Beatty the second best actress card instead of the best picture card, and then there we go. That's how a train wreck happens. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's one of those things where forever this is etched into history now.
Yeah,
the biggest screw up in Oscar history.
Yeah, in 89 years.
Wow.
And apparently, it's interesting because recently the Oscar stage manager has come out and sort of given his play-by-play, which is basically what you recounted. But I mean, like I said, there's pictures of this. There's like, here's the picture of Brian, taking or posting his tweet, and here's him holding the wrong card, and here's him handing this card. It's pretty amazing
poor guy.
How documented it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but both of them will not be invited back. Apparently, they're going to stick with the accounting firm, but those two are now no longer going to be a part of this.
Yeah, which I mean,
understandable.
I have to imagine that's punishment enough because being there, being among all the celebrities and stuff, that's a kind of drug, I would imagine.
Yeah. And I think about this often, in this sort of Google age. Like when something dumb like this happens, I mean, there are things that are far worse, of course, but like what's associated with your name once it's Googled? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this guy's name, when it sounds like he's going to stick with the firm, but let's say he tried to go anywhere else. Like whenever people research him, and they will, you know what I mean? Like This is the thing that will always come up.
It'll be guy who ruined the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Simpson thing where it's like local man ruins everything. It's like a picture of Homer.
It's
kind of like it's one of those things where people are like, yeah, but the show went so well up to that point. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that's like other than the ending, how was the show, Mrs. Lincoln?
Right. I mean, and that's the thing too. I've seen a lot of people posting, first world problems, and of course, but that doesn't. I mean, it is what it is, and it involves a lot of people, and there's a lot of emotions at play, and it's, you do feel bad for the people, like to go up there and be told that they're the winners, and after all this work and months of being on the road promoting their film, and for these 4-year consideration campaigns, and then to just be like, whoop, just kidding, and then take it out of their hands,
Psych.
and then. Psych for them, and then for the people who actually won, the people with Moonlight, to not even sort of have the moment. It's more like is this really happening? And probably they were thinking that as they even left the stage, because they never really got their moment to accept that had happened.
And it's interesting. A couple points here. I mean, Jordan Horowitz was the La La Land producer who essentially said, no, we didn't win. It's Moonlight. Moonlight, come up, and he's like, I want to give them the award. And he was being congratulated, rightly so, by the way, for a very, being very gracious.
I mean, in a crazy heightened moment, where he didn't even have time probably to process what was happening, and then had to have this nice little transfer, giving all the accolades over to someone else. I mean, he handled it unbelievably.
He handled it very well. So I don't in any way want to diminish that. However, I do think the reaction to him doing what any decent person should do,
right,
is an indication of how low the bar has. Like, what was he going to do? Was he going to keep it and run away? Like,
I think I would just say his composure and how articulate he was in a moment.
He was absolutely terrific. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not in any way diminishing what he did, but definitely the reaction surrounding that was like, guys, good. He's a decent person.
Right.
That's what he proved. I'm glad for that, but we should just expect that from people.
That's not touche. Yeah.
And the other thing here is that the war between La La Land and Moonlight, we talked about this before, became so ridiculous.
Absurd. Absurd.
I mean, there were literally articles. La La Land is Nazi propaganda.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? You know? And it's funny because when La La Land first opened, it was shortly after the election, and it's like, you know, if you're feeling down about the election, you know, watch this movie and it's going to make you feel good and it'll uplift your spirits. And then by the time we got to the Oscar campaign, this is why Trump won.
I know.
So we ran the gamut from one kind of stupid straight around to the other kind of stupid.
It's just this unfortunate landscape that we're having to wade through
So
these
bizarre,
days.
you know?
Yeah.
And like you said this off mic, what about Lion?
I know, where it was sort of like, you know, it was sort of like, it seemed, and I'm just surmising from what I'm reading here, but people were against a movie filled with all white people. Like, they wanted to recognize a movie that was equally, if not possibly better, that featured people of color. And it was funny how everyone was just like flocking to Moonlight as the only answer. And I was like, what about Lion?
Right.
Like, I liked Moonlight, but I also loved Lion.
Yeah,
And it was interesting how it never entered the conversation.
And it didn't win any awards either, did it?
No, and it's so good, people. So good.
So check it out.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on from the Oscars, real quick, this is just a follow-up from our conversation last week, where we were like, I think we can put a pin on this topic, which was that Matt Reeves was out. He was most definitely out.
That was so funny.
As
the
director.
timing of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like, for sure, he has left the talks. He's not directing the Batman. And then we dropped the show the next morning, and within an hour of our dropping the show, it was like, oh, yeah, hey, by the way, Matt Reeves directing the Batman. Funny story.
Yeah, you texted me. It's like,
Dewey defeats Truman.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't win. So he had left the table, and I'm assuming that Warner Brothers ponied up. So I think it was a combination of both money and control, and he got both.
Yep.
That's my understanding. And Ben Affleck, by the way, sent out a tweet saying, hey, welcome to the Batcave. I still predict that Ben Affleck will not be starring in this movie.
Very interesting.
I'm digging in on that prediction. Let's see if I end up having egg on my face. I may.
Okay.
I may just do that. But that's my prediction. But regardless, I like the fact that Matt Reeves is doing it. I think he's a great choice.
Ditto. Yeah.
However, I have to be honest and say I still am not particularly enthused about this movie the way I was when Ben Affleck was going to do it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Even though I wasn't crazy about Live by Night, like, I was still interested to see Ben Affleck's take on this.
Yeah. You know, so
Yeah.
I think part of it is just because the Batman, unfortunately, is a part of this larger universe which we're not thrilled with. You know,
It's interesting, you know, and it's funny when you think about it, because immediately the word that came to my mind thinking about this current Batman iteration is unpleasant.
yes,
And it's so funny because Batman has always been dark. I mean, even the Tim Burton version, which feels a little tamer now than it did in the day. Because I remember in the day it was like a big, because I was 9, and it was like a big deal where it was like, this movie should have been rated R. It's so violent. And, you know, through the ages, and even the Nolan movies, I remember I still get a little disturbed in Dark Knight Rises. Like, Bane just goes into a stock exchange and shoots people in the chest. And
yes.
I mean, they're dark, but they didn't feel unpleasant. And this version so far has. So it's like, it's interesting, the balance that they need to strike with those movies. And you see when you tip the scale just a little too much, how it can not be as much fun anymore. So I'm curious now with Matt Reeves in, and what seems like he was wrangling for creative control. I'm curious to see if he can tip the scales back a little bit more to dark, of course, and brooding, but still a good time that I enjoy.
And my understanding is that they're starting over, so he's probably going to have a hand in rewriting the script and everything. So
Right.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one is due out. Actually, I don't know when it's due out. At some point, have they even dated it?
Wasn't that one of those things where it was dated, but then they kept pushing it?
Okay, yeah. So maybe it's still kind of in limbo right now.
Yeah, I'm not exactly certain.
Well, real quickly, one last piece of news, and this just dropped like in the last hour. The Bumblebee movie, Not the Bee movie.
Oh. I was thinking of Bumblebee Man from The Simpsons.
Not the Bumblebee Man movie. Bumblebee is in the Transformer that doesn't talk, or he talks through his radio.
Yeah.
Well, we've mentioned before that he's, there's a movie coming, whether we like it or not, and they have a director now.
Who's this? I haven't even heard. I mean, I was at a movie. I was in.
Yeah,
Logan.
it's going to be directed by Travis Knight, who you might not know his name, but he directed Kubo and the Two Strings.
That's a really interesting choice.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's cause for optimism or disappointment.
How so?
Disappointment in that, like, Travis Knight seems like such a talented guy. Like, why is he doing this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, it's either shrugs or like I don't know. Like, we'll have to see it when it comes. Like, when I think of the Transformers movies, there's going to be 5 now or whatever it is. All just to my whatever, they all just look exactly the same. That, like, oversaturated bunch of machine parts flashing around on screen. I can't tell what's going on, kind of thing. So I'm really curious to see Transformers in the hands of someone else, who clearly is a pretty visionary guy. So I'm curious what his take on this is going to be.
I'm interested. I can't say. I just feel like, of all the characters, why Bumblebee? Why give him a movie?
Yeah, well, and this is interesting too, right? Because we've talked about this, but Paramount tried to put together like a little brain trust.
That's right.
Of writers,
and nothing happened with that, I guess.
Oh, so all these things that are happening now did not come out of that?
My understanding is that, I mean, we don't hear anything about it,
Yeah, I don't recall where that ended up, but I just remember thinking, like, oh, well, that's an interesting sort of concept. And then when I saw the trailer for Transformers 5, it just kind of felt like the same thing again.
Yeah, well, we have what I assume is the final Michael Bay Transformers movie coming up in a few months.
Yeah,
The Last Night.
I was gonna say, look, like, I complain, but I've seen them all, so come on.
Yeah, and you'll be seeing this next one,
Yeah, of course.
The one thing I will say, and I mentioned this on social media earlier, I'm like, the fact that we've had 5 movies in 10 years is impressive.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I don't know about how the 5th one will do, but let's assume it'll do at least as well as the last one. 5 mega hit movies.
Yeah.
All made by the same director. I mean, that by itself is impressive, completely separate from the qualitative aspects of these movies.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, so obviously they're going to continue. I'm just curious what they'll look like under someone else. 'Cause, I mean, 5 movies from the same guy.
I think that's enough.
Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, it's easy to sort of joke about Michael Bay, and you kind of know what to expect from him and whatnot. But honestly, I mean, he is as much as I might not enjoy his humor very much, and whatnot, he's still a director whose work is fun to look at. So I'll be happy to see him do something else.
Yes, I concur with that.
I would love to see, I don't know if he has it in him anymore, but like another Rock. The Rock,
I mean, he hasn't made a movie like The Rock since The Rock.
Yeah.
Which was 21 years ago now.
I mean, I know he tried to do his quote-unquote, small film with Pain and Gain.
Yeah, which I wasn't a fan of. I know you liked it more than I did, I think.
No, I don't think I did. Like, okay. I mean, I think we both didn't like it. Because, I mean, for me, it leaned too much on his humor, which I don't like.
Which is icky, and the characters are not particularly likable.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever watch 13 Hours? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That was him, huh?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
What did you think of that?
Just off the top of my head, I remember thinking it was, like, watchable and interesting, but not particularly deep.
Yeah.
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 Krasinski was an interesting enough sort of lead. I mean, he's pretty good at the sort of macho, big, sweaty dude camaraderie thing.
Yeah, he's the new Jack Ryan, by the way. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. I'll be curious to check that out. I like Krasinski.
Yeah, I think he's a good choice.
Totally. Oh, totally. Yeah.
I think for that, and they're doing it as like an Amazon limited series, which I think if you're going to continue the Jack Ryan franchise, that's actually, I would say, probably the perfect way to do it.
Totally. I will. That'll be something I'll check out once it drops, for sure.
So, really quickly, before we move on, I wanted to discuss the new trailer for Alien Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's go ahead and play some of the audio from this.
You've all sacrificed so much to be here and be a part of this thing we're doing. This crew is made up of couples. It's the first ever large-scale colonization mission. And everyone back on Earth is really grateful for your hard work and your courage. We're making history here.
This is wheat. What are the odds of finding human vegetation this far from Earth?
Who planted it? You hear that?
What?
Nothing. No birds. No animals. Nothing.
All right, so this is the second trailer for this. We had a teaser a few months ago.
Right. And then there was like the
There was like
what you'd call it, a little prologue or something, right?
Yeah, which I didn't. I watched a few minutes of that, and then I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, which was directed by Ridley Scott's son, I believe.
Oh, is that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, which it basically just features the cast of the film as their characters on the ship having some sort of like dinner and sort of, razzing each other and whatnot.
Okay.
I'm just bringing it up because it was a thing that came out.
Yeah. So what did you think of Alien? The trailer for Alien Covenant, which comes out in May, by the way.
Yeah.
They should. The original title for this probably would have been Prometheus 2.
Right.
They're shying away from that now.
But I mean, clearly the alien design that we're familiar with is on full display in this trailer.
Yes.
Right. Whereas in the end of Prometheus, it was sort of a proto xenomorph looking thing. I don't know. Like I like those movies. I'm not like passionate about them. Like I like Alien a lot. I like Aliens a lot. I just feel like I need to see, like, what is the reason for me to watch these, like, 10 people get picked off for 2 hours?
That was my thing.
Right?
Yeah, it just,
like,
I'm like, I've seen this movie too many times already.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, I'm glad. I was worried I was going to be sort of in the minority here. It looks great. It looks like a Ridley Scott movie. It looks meticulous. Set design looks awesome. Cinematography looks awesome. I just need to know it's worth watching something I feel like I've seen already.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think when you watch the original Alien, it's the surprises in the film are still there, and that's, I think, astonishing because you can still be shocked and horrified by what's in that movie. But I don't find the alien, the creature, scary anymore. So I'm just like, we've seen all this. We've seen the face huggers. We've seen it's all, I'm Ridley Scott being involved. That's kind of interesting to me. But above and beyond that, it's just the same old stuff,
Otherwise, it could just be a remake of the first one.
Yeah,
It just happens to be by the guy who made the first one.
Well, and the thing is that, Ridley Scott has said all along he's got, like, this movie and one other or whatever, and his goal is to basically line up end to end with the original Alien.
Yeah.
And my thing, I said this about Prometheus, I'm saying about this, Alien is a movie that does not need a before story.
Yeah, sure.
It just doesn't. It is completely, like, I was with you when you saw Alien for the first time. We went and saw it in the theater, remember? Back in 2003. I mean, were you confused by anything?
No.
I mean, that's the beauty of the film is there's a world that extends beyond the frame, but we don't need to know about it.
Yeah. And even, I mean, you could argue that Prometheus is that film.
Yeah,
I mean, for better or for worse, whether you like it or not, I mean, that kind of gives the story of what leads to the creature that we have to contend with in Alien.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. Okay. I was worried that I was going to be, sound like crazy for feeling that way, but yeah.
Well, and one other trailer really, really quickly. This is the final trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I should say.
Right.
So let's play some of that.
Hope you're ready. It'll be here any minute. Is that a rifle?
You don't know what a rifle looks like?
It's just swords were your thing and guns were mine. But I guess we're both doing guns now. I just didn't know that.
Well, that's intense.
All right. So I think first of all, this comes out in like 2 months.
Right.
2 months from today, actually, right? Because what is this? This is March 2nd, March 3rd, so it comes out right around then. The big selling point to me is just Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah, I mean that of course is exciting, but I mean for me, honestly, like I keep forgetting that this movie is happening. I mean, less so now because we're seeing all these trailers, but I remember like a year ago thinking like, oh, we're getting another Guardians of the Galaxy movie in a year. Like I'm really excited. I just feel like I have a new space franchise. Like I forget they're Marvel movies.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, like they're just this new space gang I enjoy hanging out with.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, this trailer, of course, works for me because I get to see them interacting again, and I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if this will plug in with, the Infinity War stuff that they're doing.
Right.
I actually hope it doesn't too much, because I'd like to have just
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they fit into Avengers somehow down the line, that's great. But, like, as long as we're watching Guardians movies, I don't really care to think about any of the other Marvel people. Like, I just enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly,
I don't want to bend to fit into some other, thing. I want it to just exist as it exists.
That's exactly right. So, well, that's a good place to segue into our spoiler conversation for this episode, which is, of course, Logan.
Yeah.
Is Hugh Jackman's final time playing Logan. It's crazy. Final time playing Logan.
I know.
So 17 years he's been the Wolverine. I wrote an article earlier today on Fandor, and that's the point I made. I said 17 years, 9 movies, 1 Wolverine. In that time, we've had 2 Batmans, we've had 3 Supermans, we've had 3 Hulks, 3 Punishers, 2 Daredevils, 3 Spider-Mans. I'm doing this all from memory, by the way. Yeah. 2 Electras.
Really?
2 Professor X's, 2 Magnetos.
Man, 3 Supermans. Damn.
Yeah, but 1 Wolverine.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? 2000, I guess, right? When the first X-Men came out. 2000 to now. It's and really, I mean, the superhero genre was in kind of a bad place, but the first X-Men really jolted it back to life, and we've never looked back. So kind of an astonishing run. So you just got out of your screening earlier today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, within an hour ago. Yeah, just about.
Yeah, and we're also joined with a special guest. We have Justin Shanlian with us. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
So Justin is co-host of Shanlian on Batman, which is a podcast that I love listening to. And we've been going back and forth for a while. Like, hey, we got to figure out a way to get you on the show. And I think a while ago we were like, oh, Logan, we're gonna talk about Logan.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, so Justin, the way we normally do it, we give our non-spoiler takes first, and then we pass the spoiler wall, and then we sort of get into it and pick apart all the spoilery goodness. So I figure you are the guest this episode, so why don't you give your non-spoiler reaction to Logan?
I don't know if I can do it justice. It's so gripping and moving. There's that nostalgia factor. I went with my buddy Kyle, who's a co-host with us on Shanlian on Batman, and I said I don't want this movie to happen because I know once it's over with, there's going to be no more Hugh Jackman. There's going to be no Charles. Charles Arch, like he's my Charles Xavier. Patrick Stewart. It was one of those moments where you're like, you don't want it to be over with. It's like you're breaking up with a girlfriend, you're divorcing, someone. Yeah. Just like you just didn't. There's so much to really talk about and to dive into. It's gripping, it's moving. The nostalgia factor's there. It's a punishment. Like I don't know, like Wolverine. Just I'm still moved by it, and I just watched it a couple hours ago. So that's my like first reactions to it.
All right, well, Brian, how about you?
Yeah, it's funny. I think I might have a somewhat similar reaction, and almost for a similar reason, maybe for different reasons, but that I just got out of it. It's something I almost wish I had some more time to sit with.
Sure.
But my immediate reaction is I have to sort of preface, my relationship to X-Men in general and to the X-Men movies. I didn't grow up reading the comics. I didn't even really grow up watching the cartoon. That was like my brother's avenue. So I'd always ask him questions about the characters and whatnot. And I really enjoy the movies. I don't think there's been an X-Men movie I haven't enjoyed, but I'm not passionate about them. But I have always enjoyed Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Just because the Hugh Jackman-iness of it, like his grizzled charm and whatnot has always been super engaging and whatnot. And as for Logan is a really interesting movie, and I'll get more into it, I guess, once we can get into spoilers. But I'm somewhere in the middle with it, where I really appreciate what they were going for, and I think they did a really good job for what they were going for. But it also, because they really went for something, I almost am a little harder on it for that reason. And I'll just go out there. I don't think it's a spoiler, but the way I could sum it up is it reminded me a lot of the video game The Last of Us.
It's what's funny is I've heard that a comparison enough times where I was like, I wonder if Brian's going to bring this up.
Yes, and I don't think it lived up to the ways The Last of Us succeeded. So I think whether or not that's fair, I couldn't help but think of that story and what they achieved. And in this one, I thought they really went for it. And there's a lot that I appreciated, but I don't know that it got me like it may have gotten a lot of other people.
Sure.
So yeah, I look forward to getting into that.
So my non-spoiler take is that you watch this just to see Hugh Jackman leave it all on the field.
Right.
And I think any other complaints or criticisms are valid, but I think that's not the reason you're going to see this. I think for me, my reaction actually I would say is pretty similar to yours, Brian, in that I feel like the middle is a little bit soggy. The action got a little repetitive for me after a while.
It's punishing. This is a punishing movie on the viewer.
It is, and I think that there is that the aspect of the violence, but also I think it's punishing in the sense that it's hard to, like Justin was saying, it's just hard to watch these characters this way.
Yes, yeah, not even just the brutality as a viewer necessarily, but just as the violence, but like the story, the story. It's a punishing story.
It is. I mean, the story presents us with a Wolverine who is dying slowly. It presents us with a Charles Xavier who is losing his mind.
Right.
And and that's not something that you necessarily want to see.
Right.
So it like you said, Brian, I think it definitely is a movie that you sort of requires you to let it ferment a little bit. I mean, I saw the movie 2 weeks ago already, so it has definitely fermented with me. So I have a lot of opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to talk some spoilers?
Let's do it.
All right.
Spoilers.
Okay. So, spoilers, I guess let's start with the big spoiler. This movie ends not just Hugh Jackman's tenure as Wolverine, it also ends Wolverine.
Right.
Now, this was something that had been spoiled for me like a year ago.
Okay. From where?
I think by you, Brian, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had access to the script, but
so I knew that was coming, but I didn't know how it was coming.
Yeah.
And so for me, knowing that's where this was headed, it was interesting because part of me watching it, I was putting it in like franchise movie framework where I was like, where does this fit? You know. Mm-hmm. And I honestly feel like the best way to view this film is not as the ending, but an ending.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like Justin, you know what I mean? Like they have those comic book stories where it's like the alternate reality final, quote unquote, final story.
Right. Like this movie, you can't really tell if it's part of like the X-Men universe. It feels like it has such a different flavor than what we're used to.
Yeah, it's a jarring transition, I thought, actually.
Here's how I honestly feel. I feel like I think to go from the ending that we saw in Days of Future Past to this does a disservice to that ending.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, I was like, the only way I can make this work is if I say, well, this is just again, it's a branch.
Mm-hmm.
And for all we know, this never happened in like the real, quote unquote, real universe.
Right.
And I maybe I'm getting too like into the weeds in comic book sense, but I just like Justin was saying, and I agree. I mean, I think tonally it's so distinct that I get what they're trying to do, which is let them. It's again, you see the code a little bit. This is Hugh Jackman saying, "Look, I want to go all out for my last appearance."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, "Hey, you've earned it, brother.
Totally.
Whatever you want to do it."
Mm-hmm.
And you watch it for that. I think that so in other words, it's almost like we have two goals. Is it a good ending for Hugh Jackman to go on? Yeah, I think so. Is it a good ending? Is it a good place to leave this universe? No, I don't think so. I think it's in an awful place.
Right.
You know, so those are the conflicting feelings I have with this film.
I think that's where I got a little disappointed in it. Where I felt like the mission got lost a little bit.
Huh.
Sort of like with Terminator 2. You can't help but think of Terminator 2, I think, when you watch this movie. Or Last of Us for people who've played that game.
Because
and it's just sort of like...
Because it's the little kid and the burly, manly...
Yeah, and obviously it's a little different because she has her own brutality to her.
Yes.
She's not just sort of like sucked into this thing and then finds a father figure.
X-23, the daughter of Wolverine.
Yeah, but I think the thing that struck me about it was I went along with what they were presenting to me, but then at the very end, maybe I missed something, but it's like it doesn't even end with the kids getting to their destination, which was supposed to be the all-important thing why Wolverine was willing to die to get these kids to their destination and save them from these,
Well, but I
pursuers.
mean, aren't they like at the border? I mean, isn't it basically like they've made it?
I guess. I don't know. I just felt like the point of everything kind of got lost, and I was just tracking with them on their journey.
Sure.
And the urgency of until the end when they have left and then they're getting chased. It's like, well, of course, we have to have that. But I don't know. I just felt like if they're going to be the continuation of these mutants and they're like going to further the mutant population or whatever hope they're going to be, it just sort of like the movie didn't seem to care really about that so much as it did. Like the camera is only with Logan on his journey with that whole thing, and that thing is just a thing for him to do for the movie. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, I mean, Justin, what do you think about that?
Well, I have like my issues with the film. I feel like that's where kind of like branching off into. Like I agree. Like you don't really know exactly what the villains, what are they exactly after? Like you don't really, like it's not like, hey, we're like in the first Star Wars, like like the plot is like they need to find the plans to this Death Star to destroy the Death Star. This film, you don't really get that. Okay, well, this is what the villain's motivation is, because you only get to see that to like the last like half of the movie. There's a lot of like. If you were just take this film out of like the current continuity of like the X-Men films, it works perfectly. but you are reminded of they give you little hints and callbacks to so many different moments in those films that it's such a, I wouldn't say it's a misstep for them for doing that. Like, I feel like they had to go back and like give those callbacks and give all that stuff, because without that you don't see the character arcs. But at the same time, it's so far removed from that you really didn't even need those. My like I said, my issue with the film is you don't know exactly why they're after X-23. Like, what is their motivation? Like, obviously she has something that they want, we guess, but you don't really get that big baddie like speech until like 10 minutes after. Then like it's just like such a jarring reaction to Wolverine using a gun, or it just, that to me that was bizarre.
And along those lines, and which I totally agree with, because this movie is filled with great moments, which I know we're going to get to, and performances and whatnot. But it reminded me, now I know what I'm feeling. It was the end of Three Kings. Remember when it's like they have those guys and they're trying to get them to the border, and then it's like they have this hiccup, and obviously it's a little different. But I mean, if they're in the woods, these kids are going over there, great. But then Wolverine sees that they're not going to make it. There's something satisfying about seeing that he was willing to die for these kids to get to their place. Like, that's why it was so important, and that's why he's a hero and he dies a hero. And it almost felt like it wasn't interested in the motivations behind this movie or something. It was just more interested in giving, Logan a bunch of moments. And they're good moments, but I just wish the story as like a whole thread had been a little more concise, a little clearer, maybe a little bit more affecting or something.
So, Brian, my question to you is that you felt like it's kind of like the same things that I was feeling. It's like we know what Logan wants to do, but you were kind of like confused with the muddled motivations of the villains.
Yeah. I just wish the story itself had been a little bit clear. Like, the thing that Logan was getting like mixed up into, then we need to like understand why he has no choice. And I know he was doing it for Charles, because Charles thought it was so important for this girl. And again, it's all there. Like, I can talk through it and I can get to it, but like, there's something to be said for, making things simple and, does that make sense? Again, I'm still sort of processing this movie.
And so worth pointing out here. So Brian, you went and saw the movie with our former co-host Sean.
Yes.
And so he called me moments after getting out of the film, and he said, I hated this movie.
Yeah, he was not a fan.
And I think it's worth pointing out, because we're seeing sort of the poles of the reactions to this film. And Sean, I should point out, comes at this as a die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool X-Men comic book fan from back in the day. Him and me together. So that's his perspective, and it's and I totally get where he was coming from, because I think he talks about the violence and what he felt was very indulgent violence, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. There's the family that they encounter in the middle of the film.
We're in the spoiler now, huh?
We're doing spoilers, baby. So you have like Eric LaSalle and the Expendables, whatever the family's called.
That should have been on their mailbox.
Yeah, the Expendables. I mean, they're in the movie to not only die, but die in as horrible a way as possible.
The most worst. Yeah, I mean,
really, and
they were what I was specifically thinking of when I said this movie is punishing.
It is, And it's funny because earlier today, my kids are like, "Oh, Logan is out this weekend. Are we going to go see it?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. You're not going to see it." And it was because of that. I was like, "You will watch it when you're 18 and not living at home." And that's the thing. I mean, there's part like it's what we keep saying, what we keep sort of talking around is the idea like I see what they were doing.
Yes.
And so the question is, are you willing to cut them slack because you see what they were doing? And my inclination is yes.
Yeah, I think that's where I ultimately end up. Again, I don't think I liked it as much as a lot of other people did, but I totally get what they were aiming for, and I appreciate the like modern Western they made.
Well, and honestly, I think that you can watch and appreciate this movie just for Hugh Jackman and just for Patrick Stewart.
Right.
Because their performances are so rich, and this is, I think part of the richness comes from the added vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously the finality of watching it, right? So we know this thing is ending. So within that, we know that pretty much anything can happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when you see Charles get stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was hard to watch.
I agree.
I mean, Justin,
couldn't
did you
help
see
but
that
think
coming?
about.
No, I did. I didn't see that coming because they were having like a moment. Like it was Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman just having like this moment together, and you can see in their character, like just the characters were they finally it felt like they finally understood each other.
Yeah.
Like they've been always getting to this point throughout the films of we don't understand each other completely. Then they finally have this moment where they're like, I finally understand like why you're the way you are, or why Wolverine, why you're this way, and vice versa. And then all of a sudden
it's not even Wolverine.
Yeah, it was just like whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming because it's just like this shadowy figure that you think is, Logan, and it's not. It's X-24.
Yeah, I mean, it was brutal. I mean, Brian, you were saying it reminded you of something?
That moment?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't recall. But yeah, that was a good. I enjoyed that, and having Charles was talking about this is what it's like, being with a family and like take this in. This was the best night I'd had. That was the thing that I really did enjoy about this movie. Actually, was all the character moments, and as brutal as it was losing that family. And obviously it was headed in a certain direction. But as I was watching it, when Logan was going out to help that guy with the whole, the water that was being shut off from their farm or whatever, and the harassment they were getting from these guys. Part of me was like, I wonder, like at script phase, maybe this could have been trimmed or cut, but I was like, I'm glad this is here. Like, this is what I want to see. Like, I want to see him interacting with real people and all those smaller moments. I actually had to pee so bad during this movie. And I refused to leave during the quiet moments because those were the moments I wanted to see most. And I thought those were handled really well.
Wow. There you go. So, so you held
would you
your
agree?
pee.
Just seeing them at dinner, the dinner with the family, I thought that was a great moment, It
was. I mean, I like what Justin was saying. I mean, it really leans heavily on our emotional connection with these actors as these characters.
Right.
And I think for me, just to add to that, I think for me, that's why I feel the need to sort of put this in a separate box from those other films.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, this retroactively makes those films very bittersweet to me. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, knowing when you watch X-Men, the first one, and I thought about that film that's what I was going to say. I thought about, with that final moment with Charles, I thought about when they met and how, Charles took him in and he was resistant, but then he ultimately became a part of the school and, just how young they were. And to think that their paths from that moment led all the way to this.
Yeah.
Where ultimately Logan becomes his caretaker.
Yeah.
And then also there's sort of a sad, I think you brought this up with Han Solo, right? In The Force Awakens. Like there's something sort of sad when you watch the New Hope now, being aware of where Han Solo ends.
Yeah. That's so, I feel that every single time I watch The New Hope now.
Yeah.
A New Hope is that first moment, it's like, again, there's that sense of like, oh yeah, his story doesn't end well,
Right.
So I mean, that's I think the best way to look at this is it's Hugh Jackman saying goodbye his way,
Mm-hmm.
But what's going to happen with this universe? Well, who the hell knows?
Right.
You know, I will say this. I don't want to see a sequel pick up from where this left off.
No.
They're talking about an X-23 spin-off movie and all this other stuff. I don't want that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bleak movie, but it's fitting for the end of this character. But I don't know that I want to spend more time in this bleak portion of the timeline.
Yeah, you know. Well, so with that in mind, I mean, where would you guys want to see things go next? I mean, we have obviously there's X-Men Supernovas, I think, which is set in the post X-Men Apocalypse timeline. That's coming up. James McAvoy is going to be back in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's Deadpool 2, which I guess I'm assuming both of you guys got to see the trailer for it.
Yeah, did you?
Did you, Justin?
Yeah, I saw that little phone booth.
Yeah, they didn't show that to us critics.
Oh, have you seen it? Is it online or?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've read about it online and I've had it described to me, but haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So there's Deadpool 2 coming. I mean, so the X-Men universe on screen is thriving. There's this Legion TV series which I'm hearing is fantastic. I haven't watched it yet. That's also an X-Men. Have you seen that, Brian?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to bring that up last time. I did. I only saw the pilot. I haven't gone past that.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's really intriguing. It's funny. Justin, have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
I'll say this. It is really interesting how for 90 minutes, it never seems to sort of have like a typical 3-act structure to it. It just feels like this story that keeps unspooling and unspooling, and you're like, what is going on for like 90 minutes straight? And that was why I was part of me was a little frustrated with it, but more of me was like, bravo.
Okay.
I found it really interesting, but then at the very end, and I guess I don't want to get into it, I won't spoil it for you guys, but like it suddenly finds like a sort of conventional, like where you can see like, oh, that's what the series is.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like it finds like a super intriguing introduction to it, but then it looks like it's going to go into a way that I felt was sort of familiar. And I was like, oh, yeah, all right. Well, I enjoyed this as like a little movie or short film or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I also wanted to bring up, before I forget, I liked the score.
Really?
I thought it reminded me a lot of Terminator 2 in a weird way.
Oh, well, so we know why you liked it then.
Well, yeah, but it's sort of I'm not a huge fan of the atonal thing, and I don't know this movie had really any themes or whatnot, but it did have this sort of unconventional sort of feel to it that almost made it feel out of time, and I kind of dug it. It was a little off-putting, and I don't in a good way. Like I thought it complemented the movie well. I don't know.
I have to be honest.
It was enough for me to notice it.
I did not even pay attention to the score, so I will have to. Give the soundtrack a listen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's anything you're gonna want to like jog to, but like, I thought it did.
You're assuming I would jog. That's the first. that's the first mistake you're making. All right. Well, sort of as we wrap things up, I mean, let's give our final thoughts on Logan. Justin.
My final thoughts on the film were it had its ups and its downs, its highs and its lows. But what will stick with me is that final scene in the film where it's that cross, that makeshift cross that she has in honor of her father, and she turns it over. Spoiler alert! And it's an X. I felt that was so poetic to what they were trying to do and what they were trying to say with this film. That like they were able to hit that mark and make that scene happen and make it work, because that scene can come off really cheesy if you don't shoot it correctly, if you don't stage it perfectly. And the way that she the performance from that little girl was just so remarkable in that entire scene. Is like, I'm gonna live my life now, like you had to go through all this. Like she's pretty much looking at the future. She has to, because her father just, this guy she just met, her father just passed away. But she had that. As soon as she turned that over, I was like, I got super glassy eyed, because it was 17 years.
Yeah.
that we've had with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and there's no, you guys talk about like timelines. Where's this franchise going to go? And they could almost do a soft reboot of everything right now. Like it's just like that moment right there for me just cements this film as it's the way I describe it is, Logan is not a superhero film. It's a film with the characters of Wolverine and Xavier in it.
Yeah. I think you're on point there. I mean, first of all, by the way, we haven't even mentioned the little girl. Her name is Daphne Keane. She was really good. Really interesting performance from her. I enjoyed watching her. I think the way I would describe this movie is if Never Say Never Again, which is Sean Connery's return to James Bond, ended with him killing the character off. And yet we still had, the James Bond movies continue on doing their own thing. But there's this is Sean Connery's farewell to James Bond.
Right.
That's how does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for Justin, there was the poignancy of the X. Actually, for me, the moment that really hit me was before that, where he's dying.
Yeah,
and
same.
He says, "So this is what it feels like."
Yeah,
and I found that incredibly that was for me that moment where I'm like, my God, we've been through 17 years together, and now it's over.
Yeah, his moment there with her, I that was pretty moving.
Yeah. But closing thoughts from you, Brian?
No, I mean, just overall, I think like I said, I'm still processing it, honestly, but I'm somewhere I feel pretty close to you guys where I just feel like I know I'm hitting this kind of hard, but like I don't know that the story itself supported the brutal experience of what the film presented necessarily.
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, they got so much. The performances were really great. It looked really great, and I thought it was a really good farewell to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So I'm sort of somewhere in a mixture of it's a tough movie, but it's again for fans of Hugh Jackman and Wolverine and X-Men over all these years, I think it's worth checking out for the farewell.
Well, there we go, and I think that's a good place to leave this conversation. It was worth doing a special recording.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm sick as a dog right now, but y'all listening, I want you to understand how dedicated I am to you people. And speaking of dedication, by the way, Justin is talking to us from Michigan, where it's like 2 in the morning or something. So I mean,
2:30 a.m.
Oh man,
you talk about dedication. That my hat's off to you. I got to be honest. I don't even like talking to Brian after midnight. So like this, if Brian was like, "Hey, 12 o'clock," I'd be like, "You know what? I will talk to you later.
Yeah.
I will talk to you tomorrow during daylight hours."
Yeah.
So I appreciate Justin staying awake for us. That's amazing, and I hope you will come back and join us again for another discussion.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to.
And Justin, by the way, I want to before we sign off, I want to make sure you get a chance to hype up all the cool stuff you're involved in. Please let the audience know where they can seek you out.
You can find me on Twitter at Batman Shanlian, and you can find the Shanlian on Batman podcast at Shanlian on Bat. We just had Chris McKay on, and he talked Nightwing.
This is so cool. So Chris McKay directed the Lego Batman movie also.
Awesome.
So very, very cool. And it's Shanlian, by the way, Shanlian.
Correct.
So make sure you seek that out. If you enjoy this show, you'll enjoy that one too. So please do check that out. And Brian, as for you, where are you at?
Currently, we're just going to go with the MovieFilm podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brian is all around you, everybody. Just whenever you think a good thought, know that he's there thinking a good thought with you. I don't know. I didn't know where to take. I didn't know where to take that. Actually, I was disappointed. He is on Twitter, I think, but I've given up the ghost there.
Yeah.
As for me, you can find me at Zaki's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. .com. That's my website. You can also find me on Twitter at Zaki's Corner and Instagram at Zaki's Corner. And what do I have coming up? There is a new Nostalgia Theater. I was supposed to drop a Nostalgia Theater show earlier this week, but unfortunately I was not able to do that, so that's hopefully coming soon. There is a new baby on the way. There's a new Zaki Hassan production coming in a few weeks. So we're kind of in lockdown mode right now. Baby girl is any day now.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Exciting.
So, yeah, it's exciting. So we'll see if we're able to get another show in before then. But our next show is going to be a big one, literally, because we're going to be talking about King Kong in Kong Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to this one, man.
Yeah. I mean, the trailers, it's got a really cool look.
Well, it stars friend of the show Brie Larson.
Uh-huh.
So we have to, support it.
Absolutely. Friends looking out for friends.
Those are the rules. But yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about Kong Skull Island. And until then, my name is Zaki Hassan, and on behalf of my co-host Brian Hall and our guest Justin Shanlian, this has been MovieFilm 113. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast.